Hello and welcome to Taking You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. I am your host, JP John Poz from the Two-Man Power Trip. Of course, joining me, the star of the show, the former WWE World Tag Team Champion, one of the greatest trainers ever in the history of the business, the Doctor of Desire himself, Dr. Tom Prichard. How you doing today, sir?
John, doing great. How about you?
Doing good, doing good. Did you happen to catch any of maybe some clips or maybe see the WWE Survivor Series that
Um,
occurred?
I did see the clip of the masked marauder or masked imposter climb over the cage, and there was a big mystery as to who that really was, but that was about it. Yeah.
Did you like that angle? People were complaining that they've seen masked men too many times in wrestling. That was the big complaint.
Well, I don't think you're going to please everybody, so you might as well please yourself. And thought it was a way to get out of it. Left some intrigue, I think. But I don't think they revisited it on Raw, did they? I mean, they didn't really touch upon it.
Well, they asked Heyman, and he claimed he had no idea. And then
Right.
they asked, I guess, in the ring again, they kind of were bringing it up. And then Breaker said he didn't care because if it's Seth Rollins or not, because he hates Seth Rollins, and he doesn't care about whoever the heck that is as far as like a max man.
Right. Well, they didn't dwell on it, is what I meant. They
Yeah,
didn't dwell on it Monday night. So I think it served its purpose to get out of the match that way and keep people guessing, I guess. That's my opinion.
was it Seth Rollins though? They were saying he just had surgery. Couldn't be Seth Rollins.
Well, we'll never know, I guess, unless Seth comes out and sells us.
I do love that they were either could be Seth Rollins or was pretending to be Seth Rollins. I love that because he hates Punk so much that he had to attack him. I love that.
Well, that's a good way to look at it. But again, I don't think we'll know unless Seth comes out and says so.
I got a little curveball throw you here. What if it has to be a mystery man because they're technically not free of their contract as of yet? So what if it's Jericho, but they can't say it's Jericho? He's going to have to be a max man because technically speaking, he's still under contract to AEW until December 31st. So what if they have to wait, tease the mystery man for a month until the break or Punk match again? Then maybe it reveals himself to be Jericho. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Well, that would be interesting. That'd be a nice twist in the story. But why wouldn't you do so? Why wouldn't they do something that Jericho's known for?
I guess to tease that it's Rollins, just to
Yeah,
you throw it out there, but trick Punk or trick whoever that they think that it's Rollins.
yeah. Well, they're running the long haul. They're not doing the short run. So
Yeah,
I mean, that's a good way to look at it too.
and Jericho hates Punk. We all know that they have a lot of history together. So it
Yeah,
makes sense. I don't know if that's the direction they're going because people are saying it could be like a young guy, like an Austin Theory or a Ricky Starks or like one of those young guys, but that Heyman would pretend he's not with, but really colluding with them.
yeah. No, that's another angle to think of. But I also believe that they're going to keep it alive, and I like Braun Breaker and the spot he's in right now, and I'm interested to see what he and Punk do.
Do you give him the title though? Would you want to give him the title? Obviously, Raw in Brooklyn, January 5th, the 1 year anniversary of Netflix. Would you give him the title?
Yeah, it'd be a good thing for the anniversary show. I think it'd be great. Yeah,
You think
I don't
you
know if
think
he,
he's
I don't know
ready?
if he's, I don't know. I was just going to say I don't know if he's ready for it or not, but I think it'd be a great surprise. I think it'd be a great, shocking blow for the audience to see. You know, the guy's going to be a champion eventually, and this might be the time to do it.
That would be pretty interesting. I don't know where you'd go with Punk from there, but that is pretty interesting. Is like give him the ball. You know what I mean? Like you're creating a star right then and there, boom, to start the year.
Unless you have another masked man interfere or a man without a mask interfere. I mean, there's a lot of ways you go about it, but I think it'd be an interesting move to give Braun Breaker the title.
I love Breaker. I think he's great. Great promo on Raw too. I know some people were kind of up in the air, but I thought it was a great promo. I thought he nailed it.
It came from the heart. It was real. It's one of those things that he really felt. You could tell, and that was authenticity right there.
I love that he's a pure Steiner, meaning like his promos are just sometimes just absolutely off the wall. But I love that.
Yeah, that's what makes him who he is.
Like obviously his dad, but his uncle too would have crazy nonsensical promos, but they're memorable and they're great.
That's what you want, and I think he's doing a great job.
Did you happen to see some of the results though? Besides obviously the Vision beating Team Punk and Team Cody there, did you happen to catch the rest of the results for Survivor Series 2025?
Yeah, I read the results. Um, Pretty uneventful, I guess.
What did you think of Dominic Mysterio going over on John Cena, winning back the Intercontinental Championship?
I think it's the right move to do. John was uh, what last shot in where were they at?
San Diego.
San Diego, Dom's hometown. They incorporated Liv Morgan in there. I thought it was very good. The
What a
right thing to
return.
do. Just Cena did the right thing.
What a return for Liv, too. That was great.
Yeah, make stars.
A lot of ups and downs in that match. They faked a Dom injury, then the girls get involved, then the Judgment Day gets involved, then Liv gets involved. A lot of interference, but I liked it. It was well done.
Well, I didn't see the match, but I did read the reviews and heard Liv came in and gave Cena a nut shot and
Yep.
yeah, caused him to lose.
She did the old Cena. Remember when Cena tricked Cody, kicked him in the balls? That's what she did to Cena. She did the old, the old Cena trick.
Yeah, well, turnabout's fair play, I guess, in this match.
Stephanie Vicaire beat Nikki Bella to retain the women's world title. Does that excite you at all? Does that match?
I thought it was the right move. Keep it on Stephanie. She's doing a great job, and I don't know that Nikki's in that place yet. I don't think she's ready.
Not that this matters. I was shocked. I looked it up. I didn't realize she was 41 years old, Nikki Bella. Man, she looks great. I
Of
thought she was
course
a
she
lot.
is.
I thought it was a lot younger than that. I'm surprised, but
Yeah,
looked great.
yeah, she took very good care of herself.
The women's team of Team Rhea won as well. They beat the Kabuki Warriors team, the Asuka team. I guess maybe predictable, but a pretty good match as far as the women are concerned. Maybe the right call, right? With the baby faces going over.
Sure. Yeah, made sense. They were a stronger team, I think.
Oh yeah, they were loaded.
Yeah.
They got a lot of good women now. All of a sudden, WWE. You know what I mean? Back a few years ago, maybe not so much. Now I feel like they're loaded.
Yeah, and I think they're loaded in NXT too, and
Yep.
they might be overloaded right now. So that's a good thing. That's a good problem to have.
So interesting though. NXT does so many multiple man or multiple woman matches. I think that they don't know. Like how could you not have some of them on TV that aren't quite ready for WWE, but they're really good, so they want them on TV. So they always have multiple women matches. I noticed.
Yes, they do, and they're giving those guys there and gals there the opportunity to get experience, and that's what you need. I mean, you can talk about experience all day long, but you can't give them experience. They got to get it on their own to learn how to fail and then fail up.
They called this the most stacked War Games match ever. It was the Vision, was Breaker, Reed, Logan Paul, Drew, and obviously Brock Lesnar, and they beat Punk, Cody, the Usos, and Roman. Do you think it is the most stacked, and do you think that was the right call with the heels going over?
Well, excuse me. I don't know if it was the most stacked ever Survivor Series. Maybe it was, but yeah, it you left with heat and people wanting more, and some questions had to be asked. So yeah, I thought it was a great move.
When you're looking at it, obviously that now it sets up a bunch of stuff, not only with Breaker versus Punk, because Breaker got the win, but also with Roman afterwards, with him saying basically, he wanted one of their titles. He said, he's okay with Punk, but he wanted maybe his title. Then he kind of said to Cody, don't expect me to ever team with you ever again. So teasing stuff. So, a lot of directions they could possibly go with Roman.
Well, you want to leave everybody with questions and answer them when you get an opportunity. If it's going to be the next PLE, or it is PLE, right?
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say PPL, but it's PLE, and see what happens. So, but I thought it was a great move having the heels go over and adding some controversy to it.
The mystery man, like I said before, we don't know. I was just throwing Jericho out there as a possible guess, and maybe they could reveal themselves January 5th, because technically speaking, he'd be a free agent by then. He could appear, but obviously the other names were being thrown around too. Even I heard L.A. Knight, which was like an interesting one. I was like, wow, he would be, I guess, turning heel. That would like so. I mean, I guess they have options.
Well, yeah, they do, but I thought L.A. Knight was involved in the
Yeah, the Cena.
This is last. Yeah,
Cena versus Gunther. You think he has any shot of beating Gunther in that?
I don't. I think Gunther's going over.
Gunther's like the career killer now, right? He's beaten Goldberg and his career. Now Cena's retirement. He's kind of like the career ender, the career killer.
Well, he's doing a really great job every time he steps in the ring. He brings credibility and authenticity with him, and I've heard some people don't care for his style, but me personally, I think he's got a great style. He's got something you can sink your teeth into, and people believe in him. You can't help but believe in that guy. His strikes are solid. His work is solid, and everything he does is solid.
He's got a bit of a Chris Benoit thing going on where the crowd is like, okay, at the beginning of the match, the middle of the match, they're up. By the end of the match, they're way up and they're pumped and they're going nuts. Like every match that he's in, no matter who he wrestles, I noticed that. Like Javon Evans and Mello, then Solo, the crowd just goes crazy and crazy. And it's like he always gets them into the match. It's just amazing to see. Like what a great worker.
Well, if you watch how they build the match, they build it slow, and they built it slow with Solo, and all the way through, he had a good solid middle and a fantastic ending. So that's the lost art these days, and a lot of guys just starting out can learn by watching guys like Gunther, Punk, Cody, Roman, and all the guys on top right now, because they understand selling. They understand there's still a place in professional wrestling for selling. It's not. I don't think it's gone completely over to high spots. The majority these days don't necessarily understand how important it is to sell, but the guys who tell those stories have the best matches, and I think Gunther is certainly ahead on that.
Did you know that you were actually in technically speaking, a War Games match? Were you aware of this? Do you remember this at all?
A War Games match?
Yes.
Well, no, I didn't. I don't remember that at all.
Well, technically speaking, you were really in two of them. It's called Rage in the Cage for Smoky Mountain, and then again for USWA.
Oh, well, we didn't have a top on the cage either.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was in Smoky Mountain. Okay, so it wasn't called War Games though.
No, but it's a very similar type match. I mean, it's basically an homage to War Games.
Everybody got handcuffed to the cage.
Yes. So you guys had a little bit different. Yep.
Yeah. I do remember.
Did you like those cages? It was like the wooden frame cage, had like fence wire basically. It was kind of like a cool looking, almost like a chicken coop, almost looked like.
Well, it was just an old school, Southern cage.
Yeah.
And I love old school Southern wrestling. I grew up on Texas wrestling, and Tennessee was probably a cousin to Texas wrestling. They borrowed a lot of gimmicks and angles from each other, and it was just that wild, no holds barred Southern wrestling that people loved back in the day. And when you still had people wanting to get to you at the end, and having to be escorted out with police and things like that. I mean, that kind of wrestling always intrigued me.
So that first Rage in the Cage was at the Civic Coliseum in Knoxville, Tennessee, May 9th, 1993. Rock and Roll Express, which is, of course, Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, the Stud Stable, Robert Fuller and Jimmy Goldman, and Brian Lee defeated the Heavenly Bodies, yourself, Stan Lane, also Killer Kyle, the Tasmaniac, and Kevin Sullivan. So that's quite a star-studded match there. I don't know if you, I know you remember the cage itself, but I don't know if you remember the actual match.
Well, I've had a lot of matches over the years, so I mean, and I've taken a few bumps on the head too. So, but I do remember at the end, everybody got the babyface got handcuffed, and we beat the shit out of Bob Armstrong. I do remember that part. Then
again in USWA, August 7th, 1995, it basically Rage in the Cage, Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Team USWA versus Team Smoky Mountain. So it was quite a weird, interesting team from USWA, by the way. So it's Bill Dundee, Billy Jack Haynes, Tommy Rich, Doug Gilbert, Brian Lee, Stephen Dunn, and PG-13, JC Ice, and Wolfie D, defeating Team Smoky Mountain, Tracy Smothers, Robert Gibson, Brad Armstrong, Buddy Landell, Tom Prichard, obviously you, Jimmy Del Rey, Terry Bam Bam Gordy, Pat Tanaka, and D'Lo Brown. So, wow, what an interesting team there. A loaded team on the Smoky Mountain side. But you guys took the loss.
Well, we were in Memphis. We should have took the loss. Yeah.
Yep.
So
technically speaking, you're 0-2 in War Games, 0-2 in the Rage in the Cage.
Well, that's okay. How many of those guys in that match are no longer with us?
Oh, man, that's a lot. So,
yeah.
Pat Tanaka is still alive, but let's see. We got Terry Gordy passed away. Jimmy Del Rey passed away. Buddy Landell passed away. Brad Armstrong passed away. Tracy Smothers passed away. Let's see who else here. Stephen Dunn passed away. Billy Jack Haynes still alive.
Yeah.
Hanging on there. Billy Dundee still alive. So 6 guys are passed away. Wow.
Yeah. A long time ago.
And one is in jail and one isn't doing too good physically or as far as his health with Bill Dundee. So, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
30 years ago on that match. Wow.
I wonder why I can't remember that.
It's crazy, though. 30 years. I can't believe how fast it went by. It doesn't seem like 95 is 30 years ago. You know what I mean?
It really doesn't. It really doesn't. But it's been a long time.
That's like that old thing when somebody goes, 30 years ago. And then you realize 30 years ago, in your head, you're thinking of like, to me, like the 60s or something. And I'm like, oh, yeah, the 30. But then you're like, oh, my God, the 90s? Holy crap.
We're coming up on 2026. I can't believe that. I really can't believe that.
Every year goes by faster.
It sure does. I was thinking about that today. I just had lunch with Les Thatcher. And
oh, nice.
Yeah, we were talking about the old days. And we were talking, I had my first wrestling match in 1979. That's 46 years ago. And now, if you go back to when I was 12 years old, that's over 50 years. And Les has been in the business close to 60 years. And talking about all the changes taking place. And it's completely different than what it was, hell, even 20 years ago. So imagine starting out and, back then smoking was still allowed in public buildings. And I like when people talk about the smoke-filled arenas. A lot of those buildings were full of smoke and a lot of beer drinking and cigarettes and crazy people, but passionate people, passionate fans. And I think you have passionate fans today, but it's a little more sanitized. It can be intimate, but it's on a larger scale, and I think it's really progressed. My God, in the last 5 years, compared to 30 years ago, especially. But my God, 60, 50 years ago, not even the same business.
Man, and Booker T recently was talking about how he wanted to kind of pay homage to your good old days, the Paul Bosch days, and he wanted to create a legacy title for the company of Reality of Wrestling for Raw. And I don't know if you could see it there, but it looks pretty cool. Yeah,
and if you notice the ring Booker's wearing, that's Paul Bosch's old ring. So I think that's great, man. Houston Wrestling had a legacy. I have pictures from Paul's old office. Bruce has pictures and artifacts from Paul's old office. And Booker's keeping it alive in Houston. And that's a great thing. For everyone who didn't have the opportunity or the privilege to grow up with Paul Bosch, Booker appreciates the legacy and appreciates what Paul did. And I think that's a great thing to try and continue with. And knowing Book, he's going to do a great job with it.
It's a damn good-looking belt.
Yeah.
Got to be honest, I was listening to Bruce the other day, and he had me cracking up because he was just saying stuff that was just completely factually incorrect. And I don't know if it's because he hadn't done the podcast in a while. He said that WrestleMania 9, that there was a pitch for Hulk Hogan as a heel to wrestle Dusty Rhodes. So I'm thinking to myself, WrestleMania 9, okay, it's 1993. Dusty basically retired in 91. He was the head booker of WCW in 93. How the hell would they ever put that match together? I don't know. Maybe he got his dates mixed up or something. Or his years mixed up.
When did Dream go to WWE?
He was in WWE from 89 to 91.
Okay, so that's when he retired after that?
Full time, yeah. Like he wrestled a little bit here and there, jibs and jabs, like Japan, and then obviously WCW a bunch, but pretty much full time retired after that. So why would Hogan be in a main event with Dusty in 1993? And Hogan was barely there in 93. I mean, they basically brought him in just for Mania to beat Yoko and the Money Inc. stuff. But yeah, I was cracking up. I was like, I think he might have his years mixed up or something's mixed up there.
Hell, I don't know, man. It could be.
I know he loved Dusty, but Vince, I don't think ever booked Dusty strong like where he could have been booked. Even Macho Man, who was feuding with Dusty, was used to say, why doesn't he get booked better?
Well, yeah, and who knows what Vince was thinking back then. I mean, Dream booked his competition, all those years, and now all of a sudden he's coming over, and that's probably how Vince saw him. But I never heard Dream say a bad thing about the polka dots or any negativity. He was always grateful for his time at WWE, from what he told me. We talked about it a lot.
Speaking of Vince, I got to bring this up because it was very interesting. Everybody thought it was hysterical. Everybody's talking about it, but this has been said before. I don't know if people forgot this or didn't know this, didn't realize this, but Bret Hart recently at a Q&A said, just, happens, he's just talking, and you could tell he's not like joking, but he's kind of, being honest, but maybe playing into the crowd a little bit. I don't know. He just seems like he's a straight shooter to me anyway. That's the impression I always got of Bret. But he said that Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels were gay lovers. Have you ever heard this rumor before? And what did you think of Bret saying this rumor?
Well, everybody has their right to have an opinion. I just have a different opinion. I don't ever think there was ever enough time or places for Vince and Shawn to be gay lovers. I don't believe that.
Bret very believe it, but so I was looking it up and I was trying to figure out who else has said this before, because I know I've heard in shoot interviews and stuff.
Well, sure.
Road Warrior Hawk has said this. Vader said this. Bam Bam Bigelow said this. Shane Douglas said this. So all guys, not necessarily big Vince fans or necessarily big Shawn Michaels fans either, but all those guys have said it as well.
I was never a top guy in this business, but I know what top guys do and how they operate. And there's a lot of jealousy in the entertainment world.
Yep.
And Shawn, you have to admit, was a tremendous worker, tremendous performer.
Yes.
Had a lot of charisma, could do it all. And Vince was the most powerful guy in the business. And there's no doubt Vince loved Shawn in a way that he appreciated his passion and his effort. Every time he went out, he was a star. And you're going to get people who are going to say things and believe things in their own mind and say things that it's just their opinion. And that's okay. My opinion is I don't believe it. I think Vince was a businessman, and he may have gave Shawn and the Clique and all those guys extra leeway in situations and opportunities that he might not have given anybody else. But you got to admit, Razor Ramon, Kevin Nash, X-Pac, Shawn Michaels, those guys were talented. If you want to go on, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg, those guys were talented and they had charisma and they worked their ass off and people wanted to see them. And to this day, I was in the mall in Knoxville last week and I saw 3 NWO shirts. NWO shirts.
Nice.
So it's still alive. I mean, people are still either representing or wearing their NWO merchandise and seeing your DX stuff. But at that time, those guys were hot. And they're going to, when you're in that position, jealousy is going to follow you, and envy and everything that goes along with it. So um, I think that's what I attribute the comments to.
Jim Ross said he thinks Bret was working just to get everybody talking and worked up because he said he's a constant worker. So I don't know if Jim Ross is accurate, but I don't know if maybe Bret's believing what he's saying. But that's rumor's been out there. So other guys have said it too.
Well, other guys I think had just the guys you mentioned. I love Hawk to death, but again,
he didn't like Michaels and he didn't like Vince either.
Yeah. Right. So I mean, they're going to say what they're going to say, and they have every right to have their opinion. But I find that hard to believe.
So that was quite a interesting story there, obviously. Or Bret talking about that kind of got a lot of a lot of people talking. A lot of people were just like commenting on it, saying true, not true, blah blah. Michaels obviously hasn't said anything, but it's just one of those weird things. It's like I don't know if Michaels and Vince will ever like respond to that, but maybe they don't really need to. Yeah.
I was going to say, why do they need to respond? People are going to believe what they want to believe, and you can't stop that. So people are going to say whatever they want to say, but unless you have pictures or unless you saw it yourself, all it is an opinion, and they're entitled to it. But
Michaels apparently did get around with a lot of women, though. Remember, he got that bar fight in New York, Sunny. Wow. I mean, there's like a laundry list of like women and stuff. So I don't know if he was necessarily interested in men. He more seemed like he was interested in women. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Shawn Michaels was the hottest star of the '90s, I think, or at least one of the hottest stars in the '90s. When Hogan left and everything blew up. Shawn was a constant, and he never went to WCW, even when he was mad and left and lost his smile. He still stayed true to WWE. So, people are going to say whatever they want to say, and I don't think anybody but the jealous ones accuse Shawn of being gay, and he did have a share of women. Back then, he wasn't married. And he was doing what the Heartbreak Kid should do.
So as far as some free agents, I mentioned Jericho before. He'll be a free agent at the beginning of the year 2026. Definitely should go WWE, you thinking? Because in my mind, if he goes WWE, there's some fresh matchups. He's a huge name. Obviously, we get a huge pop. Even if he did a Royal Rumble surprise, if he did a Netflix surprise, there's a bunch of like possible things. And then Hall of Fame, action figures. I mean, there's so much possibilities for Jericho, to me anyway.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a great opportunity for Chris if he decides he wants to go back to the grind and get a new fresh coat of paint. I mean, you're right. New opponents, new matchups, merchandise, creativity, and but again, nobody knows except Chris, and he enjoys stirring the pot. He enjoys getting people talking. And again, that's what top guys do. They get people talking, and they want attention. And Chris is very good at doing that.
It is interesting to note that he kind of was putting down, not really putting down, but kind of made a backhanded comment at AEW. He had the Dudley Boys and the Hardy Boys on his podcast, Talk is Jericho, and he said TNA looked like the second biggest company. That's an interesting comment, right? I mean, that kind of, I don't know if that's necessarily telling, but like, wow, that's kind of an interesting thing to say.
Well, yeah, especially when you're working for AEW, I think.
That'd
be really interesting to say. I'm sure he might have been asked about it, or maybe not. Maybe nobody else is paying attention. I find that hard to believe, but once again, Chris knows how to get people talking, and he does a real good job at it.
When you're looking at it too, it's like, okay, I know what Jericho was kind of saying because they were running ECW Arena and TNA just had a huge bound for glory, but he could also kind of be teasing something there. You never know what Jericho is. He's a very smart guy. He's always, one step ahead, it seemed like.
Yeah, he really is. And he's always aware of where his career might be going next. And he's making making out like one move ahead of everybody else.
And not to say he would go to TNA, but just to throw it out there, TNA multi-year deal now with AMC. So TNA is back on TV after many years. They've been discussing and talking about this. Carlos Silva said they will announce the deal before the end of the year, and they did. So he was very true to his word, and TNA will be on AMC. Do you like that move?
Yeah, I think it's great. Any coverage you get and opportunity to be seen, it's a great opportunity for those guys, and hopefully they'll. I don't know where they're traveling or touring to, or if they're doing house shows anywhere, but I think this will get more eyes on them, and it's a great opportunity for the guys.
Very cool announcement. I know AMC is a little bit different than they used to be. Remember, they had Mad Men and Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. It's a bit different now because a lot of their shows, like their Walking Dead shows, are on AMC Plus. But AMC was kind of a nice little audience there. Like that, usually a well-known, good channel to be on, rather than some of the other channels they were on years ago that maybe people didn't even hear of or didn't even know existed. Even Access TV, a lot of people don't have it.
Right, and once TNA gets the word out, it'll get more eyes on the product, and that's always good if it's a good product.
Yes. When you're looking at TNA, obviously AMC is very big. When you think about it, their deal with NXT, not to say it's like a real deal, but NXT has said that they will still be working with TNA even though they're on another channel. So I wonder how that'll work, because obviously NXT's on CW, they're on AMC. You don't think there's any sort of like, hey, what the heck? You're using our talent on another channel? Do you think that'll come up?
Well, I think they would have already discussed that before they made this deal. If WWE and TNA are working together, then I think they would have let them know, and who knows what kind of deal they have. But yeah, I think it would be great for both AMC and the CW. I really do think it could be crossover.
Another interesting thing that I saw, and I was kind of like taken back by this, but we had talked about this being a possibility. Andrade, we thought he was a free agent. We thought maybe something was going on with him, but it looks like he has a 12-month non-compete. Can you believe that? I guess they're trying to work it down and maybe see if they could do something about it. But can you believe that? A 1-year non-compete?
I can certainly believe it. I'm surprised they did it, but I certainly can't believe it because they're making an example. So for whatever reason, Andrade didn't leave on the best terms, I suppose. And
right.
Yeah, so that they might be doing that to make the example of it. I would suspect that's the case.
And I even heard maybe they would revoke the visa as well. So like that would mean you have to get a new visa and everything. The new employer, if it was AEW, they would have to be, obviously getting him a new visa anyway. But it seemed like, wow, TKO, WWE laying down the hammer. They're not fooling around with this one.
No, they're letting everybody know they mean business.
Another free agent, I don't know if people will think this is like a big name or not, but I feel like if she went to WWE, she would become a big name. But that's Anna Jay from AEW. Supposedly she's going to be a free agent coming up, has ties to Cody Rhodes and the Nightmare Factory. Do you think that's a big deal at all if WWE were to sign Anna Jay away from AEW, or that doesn't get,
I don't really know that much about Anna Jay, so I don't know what kind of impact she would have, because again, they're more than knee deep in female talent these days, and
yep.
I think they would, if anything, she would go to the PC and have to earn her spot, just like everybody else.
I feel like she could be somebody that they would like to have, somebody they could like. There are some female talent in AEW that there's no way they would ever go to WWE. Like WWE would have no interest. She seems like somebody that they would definitely be interested in, just as far as the AEW crop of female talent. Like there's something there with her, I think.
Well, there's a possibility.
And she's young.
Yeah, I really don't know that much about her. So, but again, they got to get a lot of young talent on the vine right now. PC who've been working hard and earning their stripes. So I don't know. I don't know what the difference between her and anybody else would be these days.
She does date Jungle Boy Jack Perry too, so that might be a deterrent of her going to WWE as well, because obviously he's at AEW. So I don't know if that would change her mind or change her tune at all about leaving.
Well, you know how those couples work out sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Another guy we've talked about on the show before, and I didn't even realize what was going on until I saw his social media. But remember Rich Holland? We were talking about he was out with the Liz Frank, the injury and stuff, and then his I guess it was a family member put the GoFundMe. Then he took it down. Like there was a lot of stuff going on with Ridge, and he got released from TKO as well. He got released a little bit early. We know that story, but he just had neck surgery too. I guess that was the big thing of why he wouldn't be able to work and that he'd be out longer than anticipated. I didn't realize that the neck surgery was going to be, then and there. So that was kind of one of those things where it's like, damn, not only a foot injury, he's got the neck injury.
Yeah. Well, that's how long is he supposed to be back with the neck injury?
That's unknown. That could be a year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those surgeries, man, they take longer than you anticipate sometimes, and they can be tricky.
What do you think about Logan Paul? I feel like that he was a very hot button topic around the internet for a couple of weeks, and people saying he isn't as good, and then other people saying he is good. Some people saying he's better than everybody in AEW and all the AEW stars. What do you think about Logan Paul?
I think he's fantastic. I think he's got passion. You can tell that he loves what he does in the ring. He moves like a natural, and it looks almost effortless to me. He looks like one of those guys that gets it and understands the environment he's in, and understands its storytelling. And I think he's great.
Do you really think he's better than most of the AEW roster? Like that's the word that people. I don't know if they're trying to antagonize the AEW fans or get them going or piss them off, but that was the sentiment from some ex wrestlers saying, "Oh, he's better than everybody in AEW."
Well, when you say everybody, that covers a lot of ground. So I mean, I don't know that he's better than everybody in AEW.
Like they were saying Will Ospreay. I'm like, I don't know, but let's not get crazy here. Like,
well, Ospreay has his spot. Ospreay has his match. He does a Will Ospreay match.
Yeah.
Not a lot of selling. Not a lot of. I don't want to say not a lot of wrestling, but he doesn't do a lot of wrestling. He does a lot of moves and spots and things that are entertaining and hard to do. But so can Logan Paul, but he can also tell a story. And I think putting him in there with Paul Heyman, especially, and making him part of the vision, just adds to his credibility. So, better than everybody in AEW, that's kind of a stretch. But I mean, he's better than a lot in AEW, quite honestly.
Yeah, no doubt. And I love that anytime he picks up the mic, the crowd is just, they absolutely hate him. They say, oh, he's a megastar and all this other stuff. It's like they just go nuts. Like they don't want to believe that for 1 second that he's some sort of star. They hate him.
But here's the facts. He is a star. He is known, and he can back up what he says. And he goes in there, never phones it in, does stuff that a lot of people can't, and he makes it look effortless. And he has passion, and he wants to be great at what he does. And I think he's doing a real good job.
Don't know if people are picking up on this, but he is mentioning Brock Lesnar a lot. And Heyman even said, like, you gotta stop mentioning his name. So then he goes, oh, I saved him in the Survivor Series match. He would have lost it for our team, but I saved him. I saved Brock Lesnar. So I don't know if they're teasing something with Lesnar going babyface and wrestling Logan Paul, but I know Logan Paul's the type of guy Lesnar likes to wrestle, aka a smaller guy. Not that he's small at all, but smaller than him, where he just throw him through the roof if he wants. You know what I mean? Like those guys, he just throws them around like they're nothing.
Well, I think Brock's probably at a space in his life that he wants to tell stories, and with a guy like that who has that naturally self-centered attitude, it would work perfectly. You wouldn't have to do anything at all. Just put him out there, and the people naturally are thinking it's your Lesnar, just because he's he's the beast incarnate, and he could. People know what Brock can do, and they'd love to see him do it to Logan Paul, I think.
Man, he's so funny. I was watching him after the pay-per-view, and a couple of people in the crowd, like he's kind of like breaking character, but I love it. He was slapping a fight. They go, Brock, you're the man. He's like, thank you. And then, like the guy's wife was like, you're the best or whatever. And he like shook their hand. I was like, wow, look at him. Like he's kind of just taking it easy. You know what I mean? He's not going heel mode or anything. He's like, oh, thank you. Thank you. He was like shaking hands with people. So I thought it was cool to see him break character afterwards. I know some people might complain, oh, he's the beast, but I thought it was kind of funny.
Well, once again, you don't have to snarl and growl at everybody all the time. You can keep your mystique about you and still have a personality that people rarely see. And maybe they are trying to tease him going babyface. Maybe that is the plan, but nobody will know for sure. Brock has the confidence, though, and I think the ability to confront whoever they want to put him against. And he's going to get a reaction no matter what he does when he goes out there. And people are going to cheer him no matter what because he's a badass. He's a certified badass. And he's earned everybody's respect for being what he does in the ring. And he's backed it up. So I think he can have those moments where he breaks character, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. But at the same time, he can shake somebody's hand and turn around and gnarl right in your face and dare you to do something about it. So I think he can get away with anything he wants.
Interesting that people online, some of the pundits, if you will, saying, oh, Lesnar's not a draw anymore. Why is he part of the WrestleMania commercial? Man, then you see him show up at MSG. The energy is different. When he was announced for Survivor Series, the energy is different, made the match seem way bigger, way more important. He's a huge draw. He's still a star. And, obviously people are getting upset about him because of the McMahon stuff. But, I mean, who gives a damn? Because he's not even guilty of anything. And obviously the legal team rid of him of any wrongdoing on that one. But the thing is, they had 32,000 or something tickets sold, and I was following it. They announced Lesnar, obviously Reigns too. Reigns is a huge draw too, but they announced them, and then they got 46,000 tickets a week later, like 14,000 tickets, like within a week. So it's like, yeah, the guy is still a draw.
Yeah, who can you compare Brock Lesnar, or who can compare to a Brock Lesnar? There was only one Andre the Giant. There was only one Undertaker. There was only one Hulk Hogan, and there was only one Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
Been no one else like him, and that's the lost art form too, is understanding how to get over like that, looking the part, being authentic, being able to back up what you say you can, and being professional wrestling. I appreciate the fact that they're now saying professional wrestling on the air at times.
Yep.
I mean, it's always been professional wrestling, and sports entertainment is sports entertainment, but it was done in a ring. It was done by professional wrestlers. And Brock Lesnar, I know, has always had a respect for professional wrestling. He enjoys being a performer. But being a performer as the Beast, Brock knows how to do that. He knows how to transform into that beast whenever he needs to. It's effortless with him as well. So people can say what they want, but the facts speak for themselves. He still looks great. Yes, he's a little older, but he's still out there destroying people, and he's doing it with credibility and effortlessly.
Love me some Brock Lesnar. He's great, no doubt about it. But we have to talk about your history here. This week in Dr. Tom history, just going to talk 3 matches from 3 different territories, but we're going to go Southwest Championship Wrestling first. Amarillo, Texas, 1981. Man, a little Joe Blanchard there for you. You versus Kelly Kiniski went to a time limit draw. Does this ring a bell to you at all? 1981.
I remember working with Kelly Kiniski a couple times around the loop. I think we worked in Beaumont, Texas one night, and he hit me with a forearm and clipped my chin. Still have a scar there from over 40 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
Damn.
Kelly was a nice guy, but a little difficult to maneuver in the ring. And I'm sure 15 minutes felt like an hour.
When you look at it too, it's like, man, the guy leaves a dent on you, or making you get stitches. You're not going to forget that.
No, I never forget it, man. Because I remember the first time I got knocked open. Well, it wasn't the first time I got a hard way, but it was the first time guy threw a forearm and just was. He was big and tough and strong and wasn't sure about his own strength. And every time I stepped in the ring, it was like a battle because I was trying to work, and I think he was trying to show how big and bad he was.
Are you still friendly with Kelly Kiniski to this day?
No, I haven't talked to Kelly in years.
Oh. I talked to Nick Kiniski not that long ago. Remember his brother Nick?
Sure do. Yeah. Nick was a good guy.
Was in WWE for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Left supposedly under some maybe crazy circumstances, but we'll leave that as it may. But let's go to 1993, Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Paintsville, Kentucky. The Paintsville High School Gym in Paintsville, Kentucky. 1993, the Bruise Brothers, Ron and Don Harris, defeated the Heavenly Bodies, Jimmy Del Rey and Dr. Tom. Do you remember the Bruise Brothers giving you guys some bruises?
Yes, I do, because I was pretty good friends with both those guys, Ron and Don, and great guys, but big and strong. And I pissed them off a couple times. I mean, it really pissed them off, and then I had to apologize so they wouldn't kill me. But I think there were nights, and I think this was in one of those nights that they wanted to be play around, play ha-ha, and block us from doing anything. And I think we fought around the building, and they wouldn't sell anything for us. Just thought it was funny. Thought they'd block everything and keep us down. But what was the result of that match? They beat us?
Yes. In the main event that night, too.
They figures. You. Yeah. Yeah, well, they did that a few times. Some other times they'd work and be all right, and sometimes they just go out and show us what they could do.
Did you guys get more for the main events? Because I had noticed going through a lot of your results, like Heavenly Bodies were in a lot of main events. Did you guys get more for the main event?
No, we had a guarantee for the week.
Oh, okay. Interesting, though. He loved the tag teams. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, you guys deserve to be in there, but he loved the tag teams, Cornette.
Well, Jim, that was the original deal, was going to bring Bobby and Stan in, and then Bobby had the contract in WCW, and Jim called me in Memphis and asked if I'd like that spot, and tried it out.
Would it be okay if I mentioned to Stan that you said that you and Jimmy Del Rey were better than you and him? Would that be okay?
Well, you'd be wrong, because I never said that. Yeah. Yeah.
The Bruise Brothers, though, they do get the win there. Interestingly enough, though, you guys are the main event over the title match that day, which was Brian Lee defeating Dirty White Boy. So interestingly, you guys got the main event, even though that was a world title match on the show.
A world title match?
Well, heavyweight title match.
Heavyweight title. It was not called the Smoky Mountain World Championship.
Yeah, heavyweight championship.
Smoky Mountain Heavyweight Championship, yeah. So there were three of us and only two of those guys. So we should have got the main event just by more people.
I love when Ring of Honor, this is like decades ago, but when they went to England, so then they said the ROH World Championship, because technically speaking, they defended the title. And then obviously they go to Japan. They went to a bunch of different countries. But I was like, oh, that's great. That's like ingenious. If a guy is in independent booking, make him the champ. Not necessarily make him, but he'd be the champ and he get booked over there, defend the title. He wins, brings it back. Now it's the world title. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been defended all over the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, smart. So then last but not least, house show match in Potsdam, New York, 1996. This is great because this guy is arguably maybe the most untapped potential talent of all time. Brakus, Brakus, defeated you in the opening match. You were Dr. X under the hood.
Yes. I don't know if that was the first or last match of the week, but Brakus, I had Brakus, I think, for 2 weeks straight. And one of the first matches, the first clothesline he gave me knocked my head off, and I'm sure he gave me a concussion. We didn't get it checked out, but I had a headache the rest of the week working with Brakus. And we went over the match move for move, step for step. And to the point, I hate going over a match in the back. I've got to call it in the ring. But for him, we just had certain things he was going to do. And up until the time we went out, he was reciting it back to me, and still got in there was just nervous as hell. Nice guy. I love Brakus, but he was tough to work with.
That was your second match of the week against him, but you're right. You did wrestle him literally all week.
Yeah.
He beat you opening match for all the house shows, and then basically wrestled him over 10 times. Really over 12 times you guys had matches. So, man.
Well, if you want to count the matches in the warehouse, it was well over 12 times. So I worked with him in the warehouse, and yeah, it was interesting.
I love that Vince was such a fan of him, though. Like, as far as like he knew who he was, and he's a bodybuilder. Really, Vince has magazines and stuff. Like, Vince actually like really liked the Brakus. He was into.
Well, we would when we were on the road. I traveled with Brakus, and we would go to gyms. And in the gyms that we would go to, they would have bodybuilding magazines with him on the cover when we would walk in. Yes. So he was a big deal, man. He really was. And people in these gyms that we would go to, because we wouldn't just go to a Planet Fitness. I mean, it was gyms he knew of, and they had bodybuilding magazines on the table as you walked in. So with him on the cover, which I'd never seen before that time. So I knew he was a bodybuilder. I just didn't know how big.
When Vince, obviously gives him to you a bit here, or if he basically, says you got to train this guy, you got to bring him along, you got to teach him the ropes. Does he mention anything like, he's my next warrior, or you take care of this guy? Does he say anything of that, or no?
No, never said anything like that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wonder in his head, like, was he thinking, because if his look, like this guy could be, my next star.
Well, he might have thought it in his head. He just never said that to me. He just, was the first guys were Mark Henry, Rock, and Akam Albrecht, and that was the first training that we did in Stanford. That was his idea of a power plant. So,
love me some Brakus, or as Vince would say, the Brakus.
Sure.
Love that. So that was this week in Dr. Tom History. Let's wrap up this bad boy and head towards the plugs. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 2Man Power Trip. How about you, Dr. Tom?
You can follow me on Twitter too at Dr. Tom Prichard, and email me if you want a book or a seminar at drtompritchard@aol.com.
Can't get any better than having a seminar with you. You did train a few famous guys like the Brakus, but really The Rock, Kurt Angle, Mark Henry, Edge, Christian, and the list goes on and on. So that would be a nice seminar for sure.
Sure. Just give me a call or give me an email.
All right. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening. We'll see you right back here next week for a little Take It to School with Dr. Tom.